Self-esteem, if we had more time, I would try to convince you is one of the most important psychological attributes that you could have at your disposal. All right, for any number of reasons. Very obviously, common sense masquerading as psychological insight. People that feel good about themselves are happier than people who don't. Anyone take issue with that? It's like, duh, right? Miserable people are not as happy people, right? So that should be fairly obvious. Not so obvious, perhaps, is that people with low self-esteem, people who don't feel that good about themselves, turn out to have a host of physical problems. They also engage in disruptive social behaviors at times. So self-esteem turns out to be very, very important. And what I'd like to do for the time that we have left together today is to just talk a bit about how self-esteem is acquired at different points in your life, given what we've just said, that the self develops from the outside in. All right, now let's think about this, and let's note you don't have to be a psychologist to be very able in this regard. All right, let's go back to the days when you were still peeing in your pants. You don't remember necessarily, but back in the old days when you're a little baby, where do most little babies get their self-esteem from? Anybody? Give it a guess. Parents. Dun, 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 dun. All right, you could do my job. There you go. You're the man. From your parents. Up until about age 5 or so, the single most potent determinant of a child's self-esteem is the degree to which the child perceives that their parents love and accept them. All right, fine, this is kind of obvious, but the point that I want you to just think about, or at least recognize for the moment, is that self-esteem is something that you need for you, but you don't get it, at least in the beginning of your life, you don't get it from you, right? You need self-esteem, but you get it from somebody else by living up to their hopes and expectations of you. All right, how's that sound? All right, hold that thought. No more diapers, lunch pails, and nursery school. Now, where does your self-esteem come from? At least for a little while. Help me. Teachers. Okay, good. All right, teachers. Again, when I do these talks in college, you never hear anybody say teachers. We'll get to what happens next, but you guys, again, still sharp and not jaded. When you first get to school, for a little while, the locus of where you get self-esteem shifts a little bit from your parents to your teachers. It's not that your parents are irrelevant. That doesn't happen until middle school, but it's that for a while, you feel good about yourself in proportion to how you think your teacher thinks about you. And again, you seem to be an honest and savvy lot. Who's ever felt good about yourself when your teacher's giving you a little nod or a wink or you've done well? I remember those days. Gold stars, erasing the board, cookies, pizza, all those things. All right, but note what's happening. Even though the locus of where you get your self-esteem has shifted somewhat, you're still getting something that you need for yourself, not from yourself, but from somebody else, right? All right, hold that thought. Middle school to now, where do you get a lot of your self-esteem from?
Your friends.
Your friends, okay, nice. So now you're in the wheelhouse of a decade or so that you've just ended, and a decade or so where you're moving towards where your peers determine a great deal of your self-image. All right, once again, however, note that something that you need for you doesn't come from you. All right, so in my day, we used to have long hair, so I had hair down to my waist when I was your age, and I had exactly these clothes, and I had sideburns down to my neck. I don't know if you have pictures of your parents. We looked fairly ridiculous, shall we say. And I would go home from college and my mom would be like, holy crap, this is abominable. You look like some hideous cross between Charles Manson and Jesus, and it's just not working for me. And you just have to change. That's all there is to it. All right, now the point is, did that bother me? No, of course not. That didn't bother me because I was more concerned about what the people around me were talking about. So I teach at Skidmore College, and there's not a day that goes by that I'm not mocked by the students at the college. They'll be like, look, man, you are a caricature of a stereotype. They need to dump you into a jar of formaldehyde at the Woodstock Museum. It's just wrong that someone like you is allowed to roam the streets at will. And I'm like, well, you know, okay, I admit that I'm a little disheveled, but my hair is a color that exists in nature. I'm relatively symmetrical. I don't need a ratchet wrench to go through airport security. Can I hang my coat on that hook that's in your forehead? And that little lovely butterfly tattoo on your butt, when you come back for your 20th reunion, that will look like a topographical map of Nebraska. So I'll look forward to seeing you when you come back. My point being that every generation has certain affectations that young people cheerfully adopt in the service of acquiring their own identity by being more or less exactly the same as everyone around them, right? Because once again, what's happening is you're getting your self-esteem not from yourself or through yourself, but by adhering to somebody else's standards.